Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I'm Joe Santiago. This is my partner Chris Pereira.
Oh
Today's
no!
episode. What? What'd you
I
say?
said, what's going on?
Oh, okay. Today's episode finally getting John Dorne on. Before we bring anyone on, we have some reports and stuff to go over. Chris, I don't know if you want to update us on the Jim Best situation, but you just keep posting about this guy who's threatening to murder you, and
Is
I
that
don't
really
even.
what you want to talk about?
Well, I don't understand what exactly the fight is over, and I think a lot of people on Facebook want to know, like, what's going on with this.
You can go. You can go right on there and look. So basically, this guy wanted to be a wise ass about the Merrill Creek thing, so I was a wise ass right back to him.
So,
And then,
okay, but you continued your tirade onto Raritan Bay Angler Reports page.
No, I was spreading the Merrill Creek news because I think all real outdoorsmen would like to know when their resources are being taken away from them. If you don't care, then you're a cuck and you can just say nothing. But this guy wanted to say something about it, so I don't care. Bust my balls. I don't care. I'm going to bust your balls back. The problem is he got butt hurt over me busting his balls back, and he got triggered by it.
I did.
So then
I invited him on the podcast to work it out, and he said no.
he's a caveman. He's just going to sit here and curse. You have to blank the whole thing out and just silence him.
He's not
Listen,
happy with you. Definitely.
I don't care. Dude, the guy got triggered by ball busting after he started it. And then he proceeded to start cursing on this guy's on the Raritan Bay page. So some moderator or something must have blocked him out of it.
How long is he blocked for?
I don't know. Who cares? Then he starts messaging me personally. And you reported me, you stupid man. I'm like, dude, why would I report you and not block you? I'm sitting here now. I got to listen to your bullshit still. So every time he says something to me, I just say something back. The guy will not drop it. He's just a triggered freak. I don't know. Crazy. He's a lunatic.
Okay, so let's just moving on from that before
Let's talk about fishing.
I don't want to be. Well, it is fishing because everyone's watching the two of you threaten to murder each other on every fishing page on social media. Well,
I didn't threaten nothing.
You guys keep giving each other pin drops of where to meet, and you're both not showing up anywhere, both of you. So it's just ridiculous. It has to end.
At this point, he's just a dancing monkey. I don't give a crap.
Karnowski's feeding off of this. He's loving it. Moving on.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll just move right on. Moving on. I have another. I just have another pet peeve I have to bring up. I'm seeing my news feed filled with people holding trout, and every single person that's holding a trout that's bigger than 9 inches is saying, oh, here's a nice holdover. They're not holdover. Just because a trout isn't 9 inches, it's not a holdover. You didn't just walk into a stocking spot on opening day and catch a 16-inch fish and it's a holdover. They did throw fish in that are bigger than 9 inches. Like, it's Chris, can you bet? Like, are you seeing what I'm seeing online? Like here's another holdover. It's been a holdover for 3 days. They just put it in. It's not a holdover.
I honestly have no idea. I haven't seen any of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
So you're just completely you're just not even like gonna be involved.
Well, what are you saying?
In this episode at all?
You're saying that people are catching trout smaller than 9 inches and are assuming it's a holdover because it's smaller than the keeper size?
No. I'm saying every person on Facebook that's catching a trout bigger than 9 inches is writing that it's a holdover. Oh, here's a nice holdover. Oh, I got a nice holdover. Some guys are writing, oh, I got a breeder. All right, fine. A breeder. But a holdover? Like, do you really think that you walked up to this mainstream truck chaser spot on opening day and caught? It's been fished for the past 365 days by every person, and you walked up there on opening day and caught a 20-inch holdover? Really? It's not a holdover. It's a stock trout.
Is this really bothering you?
Yeah.
This is seriously bothering. Like, who can't if it makes them happy, then I don't know. This does not bother me.
This doesn't bother you, but some guy making a comment about a small lake trout, you want to kill him. But this.
Oh well, just to be clear, no, that doesn't bother me. No one's gonna bust my balls and not get their balls busted back. Look, let me put this in a way you can explain it. All right, like, if I step on dog shit, I'm going to scrape it off my shoe. Okay? But I'm not going to walk across the parking lot to purposely step on dog shit just so I can scrape it off my shoe. Okay? This guy is the dog shit in this metaphor. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. But, like, you're going to bust someone's balls, then they're going to bust your balls back. If you can't handle it, then don't bust someone's balls to begin with.
I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I'm at a loss.
You're at a loss. Look, go back to your trout. Go back to your complaining about the trout. You're really bothered by people complaining or people claiming that they caught a holdover trout when it's a stock trout.
It's not a holdover. It's common sense.
Okay, but there are holdover trout, so it makes them feel better about themselves.
All right, yeah, there are holdover trout, but let's be reasonable. The spots where these fish are being caught, they're not holdovers. They were put in there.
No, probably not.
The truck threw them in a week ago, that size. It's a nice fish, congratulations, but it's not a holdover.
All right, I mean,
I'm sorry.
It bothers you. All right, move on.
Well, you're allowed to complain for some reason, and I'm not. Skillful Angler update. There are some. Frank Rosinski on the board again.
You got another one?
Trout, the first trout of the year, a 24-inch rainbow.
Oh yeah, that one was a holdover, yeah.
I don't think Frank called it a holdover. If he did, I don't know about that. We'll have to look that up. But yeah, Frank is on the board. I entered a sunfish that will take the lead.
We'll see.
Frank's isn't it? We'll see what? What are we seeing?
No, we'll see. It's not on the board yet, is it?
Well, no, it's not on the board. It was entered, though. It's bigger than what's there, and no one's entered a rainbow yet, and Frank's is on the board. I see his on the measuring board, so
His isn't on the leaderboard yet either?
No, he just caught it. He just caught it within the past few days.
Well, how do you know he even submitted it?
Because he hashtagged Skillful Angler underneath it, and then he also... Skillful Angler has gone from basically being like something a handful of people knew about and no one cared about to suddenly now it's a war. It's like a war zone now. Like everyone's in Skillful Angler now.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy who's in charge of it, Kyle, he's either gonna be happy that it's getting more submissions and more participation, or he's gonna hate us because we just caused a lot more work for him.
I think Joe Bergen actually submitted a fish. He put a crappie in.
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, let's bring.
I did actually. I did catch a. I caught a Skillful Angler crappie this weekend.
Did you?
Not big enough to take the lead though. Mikey's still got the lead on. Gonna have the lead on that one, but
I'm pretty
sure 2 species.
I'm pretty sure the one Joe Bergen's entering is gonna beat Mikey's.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think Joe Bergen's got something around 16 inches.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, I'll believe it when I see it.
A lot more people, a lot of messages on YouTube and messages in our email. A lot more people are starting to play, not play, but they're starting to participate in Skillful Angler, take on the different challenges. Everyone seems to have certain kind of goals that they set with it. I always go for master angler and elite angler. Those are like the two um, I'm after usually, and the panfish slam. I'd love to be able to go after the trout slam, but it's literally impossible because of that 19-inch brook trout, and I want to get him on here to hopefully
Now
get.
that you can complain about.
Well, let me put it to you this way: Eddie Mackin holds the knee deep club's record for trout, for brook trout. I don't even remember how much it weighs. We could see it's mounted on the wall in his basement. It's the biggest brook trout ever caught from Lake Apacon. It's
Yeah.
humongous, and it is 18 inches. It's 1 inch short of the skillful angler. So
yeah.
and that
Yeah,
was
currently, just so everyone knows, the skillful angler size for brook trout is set at 19 inches.
19 inches.
Right.
So
And
if Eddie Mackin's gigantic brook trout, which weighed however much it weighed, was caught, and that fish was caught during a time they actually stocked brook trout, so it was possible to catch one, and he caught one that big, and it was still only 18 inches. I don't know where the state of New Jersey got this 19-inch number from.
I mean,
It
look,
makes the trout slam impossible.
Currently, I would say that's probably true. Your real only chance is some kind of private stocking, and there's a lot of new regulations over the past couple of years. I believe that even private club, like, so you got private trout clubs on the rivers, right? Those fish swim out into public water, but I don't believe that in most of the rivers they're even allowed to put brook trout anymore. I think it's something about the native brook trout, and some not competing with, not ruining the genetics of the native brook trout species, or having them compete, something along those lines.
There's a
So
lot.
I don't even believe.
There is.
Yeah,
There's a lot more rules when it comes to putting brook trout out.
yeah, and I'm pretty. I mean, someone could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure that even these private clubs that stock these real big trout, I don't think they can put in big brook trout. So literally, your only chance is maybe some kind of private stocking in a pond, or some river that someone was allowed to stock privately that has no native brook trout. Could possibly, maybe they're allowed to do it.
Well,
But
basically, that skillful angler brook trout, because the state no longer stocks them, the skillful angler brook trout has to come down to be a native fish, doesn't it? So, I mean, it's going to
you're
be a
not gonna.
7-inch fish.
Yeah, you're not gonna get a you're not gonna get a 19-inch native brook trout. There's no chance. It doesn't exist.
I'm saying
I would.
if you had to set the number, what would it be like? Because 7 inches would be hard to do.
I mean, what would
Not
I say?
hard, but it wouldn't be easy. You wouldn't just say, "Oh, I'm going to go get a 7-inch brook trout." No, it's not that easy.
No, but I don't. That's a little. That I don't think that's high enough. But I mean,
So
honestly,
give me a number. Tell me a
uh,
number in your mind.
I don't know. I want to say maybe like 12, 11 or 12 inches, maybe.
See, I
I don't
think a
think
12-inch native brook trout is almost impossible.
really. Well, I just threw a number out there
Impossible,
because you made me.
not impossible. It's a, that's a, that's a unicorn fish. Now,
Well, I mean, you want look. A lot of, in my opinion, a lot of the skillful angler sizes need to be adjusted one way or the other. I
Sea
think some of
bass.
them are.
Sea bass.
All right, I've caught 2 skillful angler sea bass in the
White
last couple of
perch.
years.
White perch is impossible.
Is it?
Did you ever catch one?
I don't really fish for them that much, and I know
We've caught hundreds of them on accident on Lake Apacon. Never.
well, those don't get as anywhere near as big as the ones that live in the tidal waters,
Yeah,
like
but
the
they have
brackish waters.
in the freshwater section.
Well, no, it still counts. It's a brackish water. It still
Yeah, but I
counts as a
think they have a
freshwater lake.
freshwater and a saltwater white perch on there.
I don't think so. I don't think that's right.
I think it's too big. I think 14. I think 14's fair. It should match a crappie.
Well, what do you mean? It's set at 13, isn't it?
No, it said it's 16.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And that's been changed.
What have you been talking about for the past 10 minutes?
I thought white perch and yellow perch were set at the same size, if I'm being honest.
Yellow's at 13 and white is at 16, which, like on Lake Apacon, is virtually impossible.
Yeah, but you can't base it just on one place, especially that, because the white perch on Lake Apacon are generally pretty small. I would say, most of the fish in Lake Apacon, you get pretty good size of the species. White perch is not one of them.
But there are a lot of them.
No, you know what? I'm looking at it right now, and you're wrong again. White perch is set at 14 inches freshwater. What the hell are you talking? What were you looking at?
Is there another white perch in saltwater?
No. What the hell were you looking at? Maybe
they changed it this year.
Well, I'll tell you what they did. I think perch, yellow perch, white perch, it was just both on their perch, and I think it was set at 13. Now white perch is separate, and it's set at 14. Which your best chance I'm assume is the brackish waters.
They changed it though, because it was 16 last year.
I don't think so.
I think so.
So you're telling me they changed that, but they left brook trout at 19 inches?
It does appear that way. All right, let's bring our first guest. After 3 weeks of trying to get John Dorne on, we finally have him here. John has been fishing Newark watershed, I think, for 25 years.
Probably 35 plus.
35 plus years Newark watershed. So everyone was complaining to me to bring a bass man on, and here is a North Jersey bass man.
John.
How are you guys? Thanks for having me. It's always good to talk fishing with a couple fellow fish heads.
Absolutely.
Joe, where's your glasses, man?
You got it.
No. I got contacts on.
Oh. I was going to say we should do a sitcom, Three Blind Fishermen.
Yeah, I am blind. I am definitely blind. I saw you fish the tournament this past weekend. It looked like you caught some nice fish.
Yeah, we got some nice smallmouth, largemouth, and 2 big crappies. One was like 14-inch crappie. The other one was like 13 3/4.
Those are crappie Chris can never find.
I got bass like fishing, of course.
No, I'm talking about on Spruce Run, where the tournament was.
I already told you. I've found them before. The problem is the consistency.
How many times have we spent all day on that lake and not caught anything?
You're not going to rip me about crappie. He's here to talk about bass. Get back
to it. Okay, fine. All right, John, let's talk bass. So what is currently going on with bass fishing right now?
They're almost in a pre-spawn mode. They're really close to, they're all pulling up now, getting ready to get on nests in a couple more weeks, but the water's still a little cool and the days aren't quite long enough yet for them to pull up on the nest. So another 2 weeks or so, but they're pulling up shallow now.
Now, when you go out to fish one of these bass tournaments, and let's use Spruce Run as an example. When you get out onto the lake, how do you decide, do I target smallmouth or do I target largemouth? How do you know what to do?
Well, I kind of stay where it's a little deeper water, so I have the option to catch both. I don't go up on the shallow flats because it's a little too early for that yet. I know there's some largemouth that did pull up on the flats, but I would rather have the option of catching both because Spruce has got some real nice smallmouth in it too, 3.5, 4 pound plus smallmouth, you know. So I like to be able to target either one of them, you know. And
But
the baits I throw, like jerk baits and jigs and stuff, you could catch either one, you know.
primarily in a tournament, with a 5 pound bag, I mean, you're gonna have a better shot at getting more weight out of largemouth, right? Usually.
Not necessarily. It depends on the body of water you're fishing, because some of them are predominantly bigger smallmouth. Depends
Okay.
where you're at. Like the watersheds. The watersheds have smallmouth that are 4 or 5 pounds, just like the largemouth. And if you find smallmouth, a lot of times you'll find them in a group, so you could get multiples real fast.
So let's say you're fishing a tournament on a lake that has both largemouth and smallmouth, but that, let's say, the smallmouth get bigger in this lake. Are you still gonna kind of hover in types of areas where you could most likely catch either one, or are you going to more target the species that gets bigger in that particular lake?
Pretty much target the species that gets bigger in a particular lake. For instance, Candlewood over in Connecticut, we do a lot of fishing over there, and that's known for huge smallmouth. And you could get a 20 to 25 pound bag of just smallmouth, but it also has 7, 8 pound largemouth. So a lot of times if I have 5 smallmouth that are pushing 17, 18 pounds, I'll look for a largemouth, like 6 to 8 pound largemouth, because they're in there. So
Now, when you have your off time and you're not tournament bass fishing, are you spending most of your time scouting for these tournaments, or are you fishing for other stuff?
no, well, I used to work for a builder, a friend of mine. So I used to be like, hey, I'll see you in a few weeks. And I'd take off, go bow hunting, go fishing. I had a lot of more leniency then. Now I have a wife and a kid, so I have priorities. I have a full-time job, and it's a little harder to get out. So for these tournaments, I just go by what I know and kind of just like change my game plan throughout the day. Whatever I feel, I kind of just develop throughout the day.
What do you think is the toughest lake to fish in New Jersey?
Toughest lake.
Just bass fishing,
Merle
you want to
Creek.
know, or
Merle Creek.
You think Merrill Creek's the toughest, not
It's
Monksville?
well, I've done very well there. I've won tournaments there where we had 17, 18 pounds. And then I also got humbled there where I didn't catch spot diddly, you know? So
Have you
it's
ever
tough.
had a tournament on Monksville when you did well?
Oh, I do great in Monksville. I've been fishing. I used to be a tournament director for the American Bass Anglers, and I used to run a Monksville district for 5 years. And Monksville, I do great in. Not all the time, obviously, it's fishing, but I I had days on Monksville where I catch 30, 40 plus bass, you know.
I don't get that place. I don't get it at all.
There's a
yeah, you
ton
gotta
of fish
fish
in
more.
there. What was that, Chris?
I'm telling you, got to fish it more.
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's the
mean,
problem. I don't
it's
have much time anymore. So, like I said, my tournaments, I just go out and wing it, you know, because I used to pre-fish and you're so much more efficient when you know where the fish are and what they're doing. Because tournaments, it's all about time efficiency. You don't waste any time in unproductive water or tying baits or taking lunch or taking a piss. You just fish, you know. That's the way I am. That's my mentality. If I could get 100 more casts than the other angler, I'm going to outfish them. The way it goes, you know.
it definitely puts the odds in your favor. But yeah, it seems like in New Jersey we got so many different types of lakes, right? We got these reservoirs. Some of the reservoirs have like no weeds in them. It's all rock structure mostly. You got other reservoirs got weeds in them. You got the natural lakes that and the fish just behave totally different. All the fish, and especially the bass too, for these contests. So it's not even like you can learn something at Monksville and then take it the next week to Spruce Run. It may not work. It may be completely different, right?
Yeah, but I have certain baits that I throw, like if I come up to a dock, if I come up to a downfall, if I come up to weeds, rocks, I have certain baits that I favor for certain situations. So in my tournaments, I have like 15 rods rigged up with different baits. So if I come up to that area, I don't have to waste time tying anything. I just grab that rod and do my thing, So, but water clarity and the barometric pressure change, the type of day it is. There's so many variables that, like you said, it doesn't necessarily translate to another lake. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
What's the deal, John, with like when we go out fishing and we like hook a striper or like a walleye and we're kind of like playing the fish, like we're angling, letting it take drag, tiring it out, as opposed to I see the tournament bass fishermen are kind of like they're just ripping these fish out of the water right into the boat, like as fast as possible. Is that just because it's for money? Right?
No, it depends on what you're fishing, what kind of gear. If I got 15, 17, 20 pound test and I'm flipping a jig and I rip onto a 3-4 pounder, I'm going to flip them right up in the boat because I got heavy line and a heavier rod that could handle that. But also if I'm in, say, Spruce and I hook onto a 3.5, 4 pound smallmouth, I use 6 and 8 pound test too. So then I'm letting my drag work, letting the fish tire out before I bring them to the boat. So it depends on what technique you're using.
Do you feel stressed at all when you're in the tournament? Like, are you under stress compared to like a normal day fishing?
You know what? I'm the first one up there shaking the winner's hand. So no, it's me against the fish. And if I have a bad day, it's better than working. That's the way I look at it. I used to a little bit, but I've been doing tournaments for over 30 years. So it's like, a bad day fishing is better than a good day of work. That's the way I look at it. So it doesn't really stress me anymore. But my competitive gene is so high that I'm like gung ho. I'm trying to win to the last second.
Yeah.
Like I don't waste no time. It's the way it is.
I got one more question, and then Chris can go. I ask every bass fisherman this: does a red hook outfish a black hook?
No. No,
you don't think
sometimes
so?
I do use red trebles in the front of my crankbaits or jerkbaits sometimes, because sometimes, fish follow, but you got to have something that makes the fish commit to biting instead of just following your bait, following it. You got to make them commit. So red treble hooks work. I don't use red hooks when it comes to like EWG or a worm, using a rubber worm or something.
Like a wacky rigged Cinco, you're not throwing a red.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Only for, like I said, treble hook baits, crankbaits or something, I might put a red treble in the front. Jerk baits, I always put a chicken feather treble in the back hook so it looks like a tail. And when you stop that jerk bait, it undulates and moves a little bit, the chicken feather.
Chris, that's an interesting idea, the red treble hook in the front.
Yeah, it works. It works. In tournament fishing, if you get 2 more bites, 3 more bites, that's a huge difference,
We should try that.
I mean, I want to believe you, but I just I don't know.
It sounds like it would work.
You could catch them without it too.
I'd have to be in the boat with you, and you've got the red treble hook on your lure, and I don't have it, and you just destroy me, and then all of my lures would have red treble hooks on it. But unless I see it happen, I feel like I'm not changing the treble hook.
You know what though, Chris? It's all up here. It's all in your head. What you have confidence in. It's all in your head, really. That's what it's about.
That is true. That's for
100% true. It's all about confidence. Absolutely, 100%. I've been fishing with people throwing the same bait, like say for instance a buzz bait. I had people throwing the same buzz bait in the back of my boat, same color, same everything, and I outfished them 50-2. You know, and not just because I have the first prime cast, I let them cast first and everything too. It's just confidence, a lot of it, you know.
Fish like you know they're there.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Well, you got it, and you know, honestly, I've done some little tournaments here and there, bass fishing. I mean, it's the concentration it takes to just like he just said, every cast you got to assume is going to catch a fish, because if you break your concentration, you're going to miss something, you're going to screw something up, you're not going to get a good hook set, you're going to lose a fish. And like, after how long are these contests usually? 8 hours?
8 hours, yep.
I mean, in that last hour, to still have some kind of confidence that every cast is going to get hit, I think, to me, that's the toughest part.
We really only fished one tournament ever together, though, and we won it.
There you go.
That is true. It was not a bass fishing tournament.
It wasn't a bass fishing tournament, but we won it. I fished the striper one without you, and I lost. Well, I lost. I didn't win it, but the one we fished together, we won.
So nice. We have 100% success ratio
so far.
You got to come fish one of our open buddies then.
Joe, would you do a bass fishing contest?
Yeah, I actually did one. I've done a few of them. I never did well in them, but I did enter a few of them.
You know what, John? You know, Joe he just talks so much smack about bass. Now we find out he's fished tournaments. He put a picture up just the other day where he's literally like making love to this bass. He's licking it, I think. Like, what?
I seen that picture.
What is going on?
I don't want to get into it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I think me and Joe maybe get in on one of these bass contests. You mentioned you run one of the associations that runs bass contests, or what was it?
Well, I'm vice president of Top Water Bassers. My cousin is the president of Top Water Bassers, and it's the only club in New Jersey that's one-on-one fishing. So it's individual club events, but we have like, I think 6 open buddy events where you don't have to be a member. You could just show up, pay your entry, and fish.
Why are
me and Joe can fish together in the same boat?
Why are you challenging
Yeah, 2 people, yeah.
Why
2 people or 1. It's a 5-fish limit, so you can either fish by yourself or with 2.
Why is he challenging me to a bass fishing contest?
No, I'm not challenging you. I want to fish it with you. We're partners.
We're not members of this.
You don't have to be. Open buddy.
Are you listening?
So me and him can enter as a team?
In our open buddy events, yes. Not in our club events.
You want to do one of those? I'm in for that. That's fun.
John.
You should have been to Spruce. We had 33 boats. First place was $1,500.
I would have done it.
Look, I don't care about the money. We don't. With Joe on my team, bass fishing, we don't have a chance. But the hilarity that will ensue with the GoPro video will make it all worth it.
You want me to give you? I will give you a quick explanation of my theory. I think the whole fishing industry revolves around marketing. Everything you buy and yes, exactly. Everything you buy and you use it because someone else told you to. And a lot of things in the fishing industry are so expensive because they have to give out so many for free, so every other person sees them using it, and then you buy it. So, what's the most easy, most accessible fish in North America? The largemouth bass. I mean,
absolutely.
Every lake has them. So the whole marketing and targeting, and so every TV channel and every TV show and every Walmart and Kmart and Dick's, now they start this bass thing. Bass.
But I believe there's less bass fishermen than there are trout fishermen. Look at opening day. Look at how many people went out opening day and how many people are waiting to get out opening day and how many poachers went out before opening day. You know, I think there's more trout fishermen actually than bass fishermen. But I don't trout
Don't get
anymore.
Joe
I use
started.
Yeah, but the trout fishermen, they only get to fit. There's like trout. There's actual real trout fit. Like this is why I don't even understand opening day because, like me and Chris have been trout fishing till like last Friday. Like we've been trout fishing all year.
Yeah.
Opening day is the guys that come out with like their truck chasers. They fish for 6 weeks with power bait and then they're gone. That's it.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
used to do that when I
again,
was younger. I did the same thing when I was younger. I used to go to open whatever river was stocking that day. Like I go to the Rockaway on Mondays. I go to the Wanacue on Fridays. I go to the Ramapo on Thursdays. I used
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
do that when I was younger, you know.
But I would have to think the bass fishermen, they're fishing all year. There's so many more bodies of water with bass than trout. And if you throw South Jersey into the equation, I mean, bass just crushes trout. So I don't know if there's more. What do you think, Chris?
yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of got to agree with Joe. I don't know if there's more. I mean, they're definitely condensed into that opening day, but I mean, you know, like I said before, if it makes, if that's what someone wants to do, if, for the tradition, or I used to do it all the time, just for tradition's sake. I haven't the last couple of times, but not because I'm like, I'm not doing that. I did something else. I fished for something else or whatever.
Bass fishermen are always they're just bass fishermen, and trout fishermen are always just trout fishermen.
Yeah, but most bass fishermen have boats. A lot of bass fishermen have boats. There's some bank guys too, but majority of serious bass anglers have boats.
But like,
so there's less people. It's easier access to trout fish.
I have friends that are like they have nice boats on Lake Pacon, big bass fishermen. You fish for walleye? No. You fish for hybrids? No. You do any muskie fishing? No. Any crappie? No. So what do you do here? Oh, I bass fish.
Yeah.
Like,
see,
that's it. They're just like bass fishermen are just honed in on bass fishing.
I'm just a fish head, man. I love to fish. I don't care what species it is. And
that's
my whole life I've caught in so many different species of fish. But since now, like I said, I don't have the leniency to fish all the time. Now that I'm married and have a kid and have a full-time job, I only have Saturdays and maybe Sundays to fish. So I do my tournaments because it's my competition. I don't play football or baseball or sports anymore. So it's my competitive drive.
I see you put a lot of nice walleye pictures up though.
Oh yeah. No, I catch a lot of walleye also. Yeah.
Do you fish the rivers anymore at all?
The rivers?
Yeah.
Not really. I go upstate New York for brown trout a couple times a year. And every time I go up there, I get 20 to 25-inch browns. We get big brown trout up there. Just throwing spinners or little jerk baits. I go to the East Branch of the Delaware. I don't know if you ever fished the East Branch.
Of course.
Yeah, the Beaver Kill. I grew up
Catskills.
Yeah, I grew up there. I had a summer house up there since I was a little kid, so I've been going up there forever.
What is your favorite month of the year to bass fish?
I don't know. I can't even really say I have a favorite. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
I don't have a favorite. No, I just.
How about like a broader version of that question? Do you
put it this way?
Like
when the water gets
55
degree or warmer water, I'd rather bass fish. I struggle more when the water's under 55. But over the years, I've gotten better at cold water techniques. But when the water's warmer, it's easier. Sorry, what was that, Chris?
It's so slow, right? It's like the patience that it takes is it's tough, especially if you're in a contest, right? I got to imagine.
Yeah, but if you know where they're at, you know where they're at. It's like we had our first opening club event a few weeks ago on Pompton Lake, and I ended up winning it. I found all the fish in one spot. I went there first thing in the morning, flipped the jig in, caught one, started fishing. 2 hours, I caught 7 of them. And the next 5 hours, I didn't get a bite. But all my fellow competitors were coming around, and it was an isolated area that had all the fish in it. So I was protecting it like a mother hen. Anytime a boat came by, I'd be like, hey, get away. And I just like drift over where the fish were, drift around a little bit. Then I see a boat come, I go back over there just to keep them away. Because if somebody comes and catches a 4-pounder, you know, that's one that I could have had, or they would have took my lunker for the day, you know?
So you made me think of this. And I'm not sure because I've never done any real like big bass contests. Is there a rule regarding this, or it's just etiquette thing? If you're fishing a spot like you just said, and someone, you know, etiquette wise, if I'm out fishing, I'm not going, definitely not within casting distance of someone else fishing, probably much more away than that. If it's something like a top water blitz is happening and it's big enough that I can go on the other side and not be within casting distance, that would be the only scenario where I think I would get even that close. But in a bass contest, if you're in a situation like you just said, can someone, without breaking any rules, just literally pull up next to you like 2 feet from your boat and flip a jig into the spot that you're fishing and start pulling out fish?
They can, but there's definitely etiquette involved. You know, if somebody does that to me, we're gonna have words. You know, I wouldn't. That don't fly. You know, but most people have enough etiquette. But you know what? The lakes in Jersey are so small that you kind of have to fish recycled water and fish around each other. The lakes are tiny. I used to go to the national championships for the ABA for 4 years, and I went to Florida, Louisiana, Alabama, and it's just, you don't even want to fish Jersey after going there, you know?
Yeah, you got so much more room. And
yeah.
Oh.
I took third place in the national championship, which was Harris Chain in Florida. And it's 5 different lakes connected together. It's a chain of lakes. And I ended up taking third in a 4-day tournament. And I almost won the boat, you know, and it was fun. I had to share the one canal I was fishing with a 12-foot alligator. It was awesome. It was cool.
You know what I think is cool? That, like, all right, so you've traveled all of these different places, all these different states, bass fishing, and, you know, I don't know, maybe you wish you lived somewhere else, but maybe you're stuck in Jersey. I don't know, but it seems to me like you're here, right? You're even after fishing all these other states, you still enjoy fishing for bass in Jersey. Maybe you're not going to catch a largemouth bass as big as the ones you caught in Florida. You're not going to catch smallmouth bass as big as the ones you caught in, you know, upstate New York or wherever else. But I don't know. There's just something about the smaller water in Jersey. It seems like that just, you know, keeps us happy. I don't know.
You know what it is? If you're a good fisherman in Jersey, you're going to be a good fisherman everywhere because, like you just said, the bodies of water are so small and they get pressured, which if you're a good fisherman in Jersey, you're going to be able to fish anywhere. It just makes you a better fisherman all around, you know?
Yeah, I've told people that, yeah.
Oh,
I definitely agree with that.
100%.
Well, John, I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we're going to have a weekly bass report from you, and hopefully we get to fish this open buddy tournament Chris is talking about. I'll fish it.
Go on the website on topwaterbassers.com and look, and anyone that you see is an open buddy. It's scheduled open buddy. Come and fish it, man. You know, I'd love to see you guys there.
Let's go, Chris.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. It's going to be hilarious.
I'm in 100%. As long as
we have that one in Merle Creek. You guys know Merle Creek. Lake trout don't count, though, you know?
Let me tell you something.
Lake trout.
I have tried to bass fish in there, and I want to say once or twice, you know, I've never just slayed giant fish. Like, I don't think I would have ever gotten a whole 5 bass limit there, but I've been bass fishing there and caught some just monsters.
Oh, there's big ones in there.
John, the weigh-in's at 7 p.m., correct, John?
Yeah, outside the gate. Outside the gate.
7 p.m. Is it? What time is it? It's at sunset, the weigh-in, John?
Chris, launching is at 6 o'clock.
As they tow his car and trailer away, he'll just be floating.
If I fish a bass contest at Merrill Creek, 2 hours into the contest, I'm probably going to say, screw this. I'm going lake trout chicken.
I've caught in so many Lakers there while I was bass fishing, like vertical jigging spoons and stuff like that, 30, 40 feet. Got some big Lakers out of there bass fishing.
All right, man. I hope to get you back on here, and yeah, we will fish one of those. Probably not the Merrill Creek one because Chris is boycotting that place, but we'll fish one of them.
Hey, Joe, you take your kid fishing?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does he like it?
My daughter's older. She likes it more. He's just getting into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My son's 13. He doesn't really like to fish. He likes the tech. He's into the video games and all that stuff. But he wants to do engineering for all that. And he's like real smart kid, you know. So
yeah,
I'm the fisherman of the family. He's a smart one of the family.
That's all. My daughter loves hybrids. She likes to troll for hybrids with planer boards.
Oh yeah.
That's her favorite. Yeah.
Just reel them in. Yeah.
And salmon fishing. She likes that too.
I love taking kids fishing or newbies. That's why I always want to work in the fishing industry, and I would love to be a guide or something, but I could never get full-time every day, you know, so I need a full-time job. That's what it comes down to, because I would love to be in the fishing industry, and I get more excitement and gratification out of newbies or kids catching them versus me getting them myself. That's just the way I am.
Do you have any interest in being co-host on a fishing podcast? Because as soon as I start making money doing this, I'm getting rid of Joe.
Flush him down the toilet.
Rid of me now.
He's making big bucks with the Old Spice deodorant kickback. So
you guys are like Laurel and Hardy, man. You don't want to get rid of each other. You guys go together, man. It's all good.
It's Laurel and Hardy. This is like fucking this is bad.
Or Beavis and Butthead.
This is total, like, Dwayne can't stand the negative. Dwayne thinks we're the two most negative fishermen he knows, and when it's both of us together, Dwayne can't take it. It's just too much negativity. But John told me that
that's my way.
I know, I'm negative too, but John told me that if he stayed here too long, he would just keep talking about fishing.
Oh,
so he said, no matter what happens, just kick him out. So I'm kicking him out now. So kick him out. Kick John out.
You guys call me so late. I'm usually at bed by 8 o'clock, man.
Me too. That's where we're going.
Our producer, Deuce, always falls asleep while we're talking about fishing, or else you'd be gone already.
My son's good friend is said he's going to watch the podcast. He's 13, so I just want to give him a shout out and mention his name. His name's Kevin Schmitz. His name's Kevin Schmitz, and I take him fishing with his dad up in Highland Lakes up here, and that gets my son out for a while, you know, because he don't really care for it, but he'll go out with one of his friends are there, you know.
Nice.
So he subscribed to the podcast and he said he's going to check it out. So
awesome.
It's
Anybody
good.
else?
I'm trying to promote you guys as much as I can, you know.
Shout out anyone you want.
Yeah, no, that's it. And my buddy Scotty, I take him and his stepson Scott Hertner and his stepson Tristan. That's the only two kids really that I take out fishing. And then, like I said, that's more important to me than anything is getting the youth involved, you know.
That's awesome, man.
Hey, let me just tell you something, John. Like, there's still hope. You said your son not really into it. There's still hope.
You know, he just busts my chops a lot. He's like me. He's got a lot of sarcasm like me, so he busts my chops.
Dude, when I was growing up, no one took me fishing. I maybe fished once or twice with like a friend growing up. I didn't start fishing till I was probably 25.
Wow.
I just picked it up at 25. I mean, you know, it sucks. I missed, you know, fishing as a kid, and no one in my family really fished, but you know, at some point in life, sometimes it hits you. One day my friend wanted to go fishing. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And, you know, obviously where it went from there, just a unhealthy obsession, I guess, but.
I was like 8, 9 years old, and I used to live in Haskell on Rainbow Lake, and there was a group of people that used to go there with their buckets and their bobbers and worms and fill up the buckets of bluegills and bass and crappies and everything. And I was like 8, 9 years old. I used to come home. I used to sell them bass, catch 2-3 pound bass, and I'd come home and show my parents some money. They'd be like, "Where'd you get that money?" I was like, "Well, I sold the people on the lake some bass," and I just had such a passion for it. That's how I started, and it was great. And then I moved to Clinton Road, so I grew up on Clinton Road. That's how I know all the watersheds. I grew up on Clinton Road since I was 12 years old, so I'm sure you heard a lot of stories about Clinton Road.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
Joe,
crazy
you're right.
stories.
This guy will never stop talking
No,
about
I
fishing.
won't.
He's worse than us.
Deuce, are you awake?
Deuce, you gotta wake up and cut this guy off, or we're not going to bed tonight.
Deuce, kick him, Deuce.
Hey,
kick him.
bring me on again.
John,
Part two.
John,
Part two.
It was great talking
John,
to
it
you.
was awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure talking to you guys. All right.
We'll see you on the lake soon.
Have a great night.
Take care, bud.
Well, that was cool. John's pretty cool. Okay, so that was awesome to finally get John Dorne on here. He did tell me he would stay on here forever, so I did have to kick him out.
No, we literally had to just cut him off. He would have talked about fishing forever, and we would have just kept talking right back.
Yeah, so eventually we do get yelled at by Deuce because he's already sleeping in the background and he wants to go to bed. So, I want to do my usual call outs. Please subscribe to the podcast. Hit the subscribe button. It's so easy. That's all that helps us.
Joe's Old Spice deodorant money is going to run out soon, guys.
Yeah, I'm running out of the Old Spice deodorant money. Hit the subscribe button. Even if you don't like Chris, hit it for me. And if you don't like me, hit it for Chris. And if you don't like either one of us, then hit it for Dwayne. Just hit it for some. Just hit subscribe. That's all. All right, call outs. I'm calling out Fast Eddie. I got YouTube comments and emails. People want Fast Eddie on here. They want the njfishing.com legend Fast Eddie on the podcast. What else does he? What do we offer him to draw him out? Do we have like nunchucks to give away? It has to be like a stealth weapon that would interest. Samurai sword. What does he want?
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's more like a brass knuckles guy.
Whatever, Eddie, if you want some sort of a weapon to talk fish in 20 minutes, whatever. The fans want it. New Jersey's calling for you. Jim Hutchinson, another one. Emails. People want us to talk to you. And Mr. Craig Lemon, you could ask Chris. When I first talked to Chris of the idea of this podcast, you were the first person that I thought of for an interview. So you are like my white whale. You are the Moby Dick of my interviews, Craig Lemon. I am after you.
Well, and I did speak with Craig. He does want to do it, but because he works for New Jersey Fish and Wildlife, he does have to clear something, so he's checking in on it. But if it can happen, it'll happen. He definitely wants to do it.
Anything that he isn't allowed to talk about, we won't talk about. But anything he can talk about, we'll talk about.
I told him that, but he still has. They have to clear it with,
We'll make special arrangements for Craig. Whatever it takes. Fast Eddie, get him weapons. Kurt Holt.
Fast Eddie can just come on and just say whatever he wants. It'd be great.
Yeah, Fast Eddie could just come on. He could come on calmly. He could come on screaming at everyone. We don't know what'll happen, but just come on. Any way he comes on, he comes on. Anything else? Oh, Chris is going to be away in Florida next week. He's going to be fishing with Justin Lerner and Katie for the week. So, we really don't know yet if there's going to be an episode next week. There might be. There might be a short one. We might get a remote episode with Chris from Florida for 10, 15 minutes, see what he's doing. We'll see. So next week's episode's up in the air. If you don't see us next week, though, that's why. It's because Chris is gone, and I'm not doing this shit by myself, so that's off for the week, and we'll be back the following week. And
we'll still be on the social media and stuff.
Feel free to share, just maybe not one episode.
Feel free to share the fishing reports. I won't have any New Jersey fishing reports, but I'll still be looking at them. And
we should soon start having our giveaways ready. We're still ironing out the details of how we're going to give it away, but we are going to start giving them away.
I think by in about 2 weeks, I think we'll have that ironed out, and we just want to make sure, these are some really awesome prizes from Lake Apacan Guide Service, and we just want to really
can't
do
win,
it.
right? We're not allowed to win.
No, you can't win, but Aaron will take you fishing if you ask him, maybe. If you
I
ask him
don't think
nicely.
he would. I don't think he will. I can't even get him on the phone. I don't think he will. If I call him now, he'll return my call probably in August. Hey Joe, how you doing? You called? He'll call me.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. He'll disappear.
He'll
He's fishing.
call me 3 months from now. One day went by. Oh, did you call me, dude? Yeah, I did call you about 3 months ago. Well, yeah.
I'm sure if you offer him a pack of Old Spice deodorant, he'll oblige you. Get that damn thing off of your dresser. It's just sitting there. Your deodorant.
Unfortunately, I don't have a torture chamber with a toilet in my house like you do, where you're sitting. I'm done with this. I'll see everyone next week. They aren't holdovers, they're stock trout. And thank you. Good night.
See you later.